Season 2, low-key trash.
Look, we have a voice.
How you gonna get better the next day?
From the bathroom counting money to negotiating contracts.
Getting your voice out there and identifying your voice. We want to get ahead of the police, seeing us as criminals.
Sharing opportunity, you know.
We want to get it back to a space where lyrics matter and there's substance behind what you're saying.
How you doing, everybody? We're here again, low-key trash. I'm Berg.
I'm Paris.
This is Paris.
Nice to meet you, Berg.
Nice to meet you.
I thought I was going to be sitting down with Silas today.
I mean, I think a lot of people. It happens.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm here to
Okay.
lead the way today.
Cool.
So can you tell me a little bit where you're from and
Yes.
how'd you end up in New York?
I'm from D.C. For me, I always wanted to be in a big city. So I remember being in business school, undergrad at VCU in the business school. It was like, I'm going to New York. So
I mean,
that's
that's
what
where
I
all the
did.
business is at.
Yeah.
You know?
So I knew I didn't know how I was going to get here, but I knew my picture was bigger than D.C., bigger than Richmond, Virginia. So.
Yeah, I'm just actually now learning a little bit more about DC. I mean, this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but I heard someone say DC is like the Africa of America.
Huh. Used to be.
Okay.
It's not like that much anymore since Obama was living in D.C. A lot of people migrated. A huge gentrification happened, like with a lot of our cities across the states. But it's still a beautiful city. But a lot of what we used to call Chocolate City is no longer Chocolate City.
What's it like Malt City, like?
So I sometimes feel a lot out of the D.C. loop because I've been so immersed in New York. But when I go back, it feels not necessarily multicultural. It feels to be frank, very white. Places where I'm used to seeing all black families and kids playing like near Howard University and things like that is like all white, and where it used to be all black. And you all probably heard about, the campus being kind of the new neighborhood trying to be all over Howard's campus and everything, and that just them kind of taking over. So
It's kind of crazy.
yeah.
So it's like doing the opposite than what I thought I knew. Okay.
Yeah, you got to go experience it yourself. Yeah. And so we have a friend that has a spot. He just opened in D.C., like a lounge. What's the name of the lounge? Ella Grace. Ella Grace. And, one tip I was giving him is like, let's try as much as possible to keep that true D.C. essence, whether that's one of the like your bartenders or your waitresses is just like old school D.C., just to keep that essence that D.C. is known for, which is just such a vibe. I feel like that we bring, being from D.C. It's a soulful place. We have our own music. We have that go-go. A lot of successful black people live out in D.C., so.
That's great. Yeah. DC is like, now I have to know. I know I have to.
Yeah, you gotta go check it out.
I have to go. So I've been there. I only hear good things about DC right now.
Yeah.
But
it's a beautiful place.
You're originally from DC. Came to New York. So how did you get into the industry, I guess?
I feel like I'd landed in the industry. I moved to New York. I didn't have anywhere to live. I had a job, and that was like my plan. I was like, as long as I am able to make money, I could figure the rest out. So I got hired in fashion. I was selling to boutiques and department stores. But I, like I said, didn't have a place to live. So every weekend I would go back home. I was able to stay in my friend's crib, and she had like a spot in Harlem. It was no living room. It was barely a kitchen. It was a very small bathroom. She and I were sharing a bed. It was like a rooming situation. It was 2 other girls living there. So on the weekends, I would try to get out of her way, and I didn't want to overcrowd her, not be courteous of her space. So I would work during the week, and even when I would get off, I didn't know where I was going to go because I didn't have keys to that spot. So I was just, kind of in limbo. And then we eventually found a spot to live. But I felt like it was smarter to be in New York and have cash than not have a place to live and no cash. Because, you know, with money, you could finesse and figure it out. So I did that. And as far as like getting into the entertainment industry, I was working in fashion, and a stylist came in with Angela Yee from the Breakfast Club to do some pulls, and that's how I met Angela. And then she would come back without the stylist sometimes, like to drop the clothes off, and then I might help her find a few other things for her events. I think at that time the Breakfast Club was almost a year in, and I was still young. I was probably like 23, 24, and I asked Angela, hey, would you be my mentor? I'm new to the city. I don't really know anybody. I'm trying to figure it out. Would you be my mentor? And she said, no, I won't be your mentor, but you could come hang out. So hanging out turned into what I do today.
That's pretty much, like, I feel like that's how a lot of the connections work in New York.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the networking, at least.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you meet people, and then, you know, either those relationships stop there or they, you know, keep going.
Yeah, and I'll even like rewind a little bit. Even before I met Angela, my friends had been here a year prior to me, so they were already moving and shaking, and they were like had around certain people working at BET, VH1, working in fashion, and so like I literally landed into it. That's how I met Silas. So yeah. Prior to me even.
Silas was doing the same hustle.
Yeah, we were all trying to figure it out.
That's the move, I guess. And I mean, you got to respect it. There's a whole essence to that, like grinding, you know, coming to like, you know, they say New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, you
right.
know? So
yeah.
It sounds like you pretty much just went right, like Angela Yee, like just. Like,
yeah, when I met Ange, I didn't know what the Breakfast Club was, honestly. So someone was like, Angela Yee from the Breakfast Club came to the showroom. I was like, what's the Breakfast Club? I was so confused, you know? And I was like, yeah. And she invited me out. Well, you better go. You need to go out. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go out, you know? And that one thing led to another. I didn't know what I was stepping into when I stepped into it.
No, that's good. Sometimes, I mean, that's the risk, part of the risk part, you know? Like, take that risk that you don't really know, and I mean, it seems like it worked.
Yeah, I was trying to like figure out. All right, she does a lot of red carpets, and she's, you know, always at events and needs clothes. So how can I, you know, use my fashion relationships and connections to aid in where she's going and as she grew with her career. And you know, she ended up getting me to move to Brooklyn. So I was in Harlem. She was like, you should move to Brooklyn. And then when I moved to Brooklyn, she was like, all right, I go on the road a lot. I could use some help. Come on the road with me. You could be my road manager. And I never had been on the road. I didn't know what the road was, what that meant. And then really just learning. That was the first taste of the business, really learning, you know, you think you go to the club, it's all fun and games, and it can be, but it's a lot of business that is going into a fun night at the club, you know?
Yeah, that people don't see
behind
the scenes.
So, like, you know, that back end, the money, you know, even down to the post to help promote the night and all of that. So I would be in clubs, and, you know, she was still starting out, so we would be in clubs throughout the states, and I'm in the bathroom counting money, and you know, so that was my first taste to the business, and it's grown from there. So it went from the bathroom counting money to negotiating contracts with HBO and, you know, American Express and Tampax and all of that. So.
That's a success story in its own. Like, start from counting money in the bathroom to
real checks.
Like that's fine. I like that. That's fire. So like through that journey, I guess, what kind of lessons, I guess, could you give to someone who's like sort of on the same path as you, or trying to make it in the industry on their own, like organically?
Yeah,
you know?
That's the key. Organic, really. I know a lot of people are into this fake it until you make it. But when you're given the opportunity to have a seat at the table, as some people get too excited and they're enamored by who they're sitting next to. For me, I a lot of times didn't know who I was sitting next to. You know what I'm saying? So I always was cool enough and always was able to have that seat at the table because it was just organic. I wasn't excited about who I was around. I never asked for pictures. I never fanned out about the celebrities. So I think if you know you're there to do a job, you do your job. You know what I'm saying? And it's a cool job, but remember you're there to work first and foremost, and then just be honest business. Don't try. There were instances a promoter was like, "Hey, this is the number I want to give her, but I could get some extra, and then you and I could split it." And I was like, all right, it's a few things going on. I don't know a lot of people in this industry. He could be testing me and then run back and tell her what I did. Or, seems like clearly he's trying to do some funny stuff, whatever. What am I going to do? And me being the person I am, I always like to keep it on the up and up. So, I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. If you got extra money, we could give her the extra money. I'll take my percent. You'll take your percent. And I told her about it. I was like, look, he just tried to do da-da-da-da-da. So you'll find longevity in the industry if you do honest business.
Yeah, don't
you know
be
what
janky.
I'm saying? Yeah, don't do
Like
janky
that movie,
business.
right?
Yeah.
That movie, Janky Promoters.
Janky Promoters.
That's a real thing. It's not just a movie. So
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got real people working out here and stuff,
Yeah, everybody, you don't have to get far. You might get there faster, but you'll get there if you do it the right way, for sure.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how you got to do it. So you said Angela asked you to come on the road with her, and you guys are traveling around.
Yep.
Do you like that? Like that lifestyle of traveling
Being
around,
on
or
the
would you rather
road?
be just in your own?
So I'm not on the road as much because the road did start to get taxing, yes, and I wasn't seeing my family. I was missing funerals, baby showers, birthday parties, you name it. I was grinding, I was working, so I missed a lot. So then you get to the point as you're building relationships, so you have a love life and you want to spend more time with your family. They're getting older, so now you figure out, all right, how can I pivot, still maintain what I've built, and kind of go from there. So I figured that out. I don't travel as much. I still am on the road sometimes, but my as I've grown, my position or my role has morphed more into a brand manager in the sense that I don't have to be right there. I kind of handle the business from afar.
So you've came pretty far, I guess. If you're doing
Yeah,
your
and I
own.
work with other talent, other influencers, other brand projects. So yeah, it when she said, I won't mentor you, but you could come hang out, I learned a lot.
That's
just
almost better.
hanging out. Yeah, it really was.
I actually feel like that's more of a respect thing, actually, rather than mentoring you. And she probably didn't want to feel like she has to give you
The responsibility.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a real mentor, it's a real responsibility, And I think Angela, she's a very smart woman, so she looked at it all right, she knew her value and what the experience could bring to me. And if I did what I was supposed to do, I could make something out of it. So basically, all right, come around, what you made of, type of thing.
Yeah.
You going to sink or you going to swim?
That's actually right. That's pretty fire.
Yeah.
So you have this. You're the founder of Addison Arc.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little about that and
course.
what this is?
Addison Arc is. So I was on. Let's go back. I lived on 120th between Park and Madison when I was up in Harlem, and when I was all right, I like fashion, I like entertainment, I like business, and I like beauty. How do I morph all these things together? And that was too much to wrap my head around. But I knew at least I needed to have some type of structure or foundation. So I came up with Addison Arc. So when I did do any business, I had the infrastructure in place, and I wasn't just, not like a real businesswoman. I always wanted to be a businesswoman. So I put that in place. So Addison Arc comes from 120th between Park and Madison. And that's where I landed. That's where we would sit in the living room and talk about all right, what are we gonna do? Or let's try to do this party, or let's try to plan this event.
Like the first headquarters.
Yeah, where we would pool all of our ideas together. And I go back, even on my computer now, I have decks that look like trash compared to a deck I could make today, but that was always the vibe. And, you know, my friends that, you know, Whitney and Jenna in that space where we were, you know, one is a very successful stylist right now, like styling with Beyonce and working with Drew Ambrose and Future. And then the other one has her own production agency. So we all, those conversations between 120th, between Park and Madison have morphed into who we are today.
They bloom. That's true growth.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, growing up, like pretty much everything we've ever done has always been organic, and like we've always had to make it up on our own. And like, you know, we live on the Cape, and it's like really, really like it's different, you know. And so like part of that, or like I guess like organically when you do things, you feel more, I guess like it's almost feeling like more successful than like if someone was to just come here and just here's this, I gotta do that, you know what I mean? Like you get to learn the whole process.
Like you work towards it. And I think like for me, I learned, what did I like as a child? What was I doing as a child? And like I would play Office as a child, or any board game I wanted. It had money involved. And I had Mall Madness where you could swipe the credit cards. And then I had, it's this other game, I cannot remember the name, but it was one of my favorite games, and it was about like business and money. It wasn't Monopoly or Life or anything like that, but I just loved that like business and money and transactions and the phone calls and the this. And you know, me and my cousin, we would play like there were 4 bedrooms upstairs. Each bedroom was our apartment, and then one of the rooms was our office. So we would go to work and meet, and we would do things and plan, and then we would go back to our apartment.
You were working before you was even working.
Exactly.
You made up your own office.
Exactly.
That's kind of crazy.
You got to think like, what did you love as a child, and are you doing some of those things today? Because really, this was always in me. You know.
I mean,
you attract what has always been in you. You're just drawn to it naturally.
It doesn't feel like work when you're incorporating.
Exactly.
It's like stuff that you always wanted to do or try or I mean, especially if you get money from it, you know? Like that's like I mean, we all aspire to get money from what we love.
That's the key, right?
But like we have to do all this other stuff on the side to get our goal, get to our goal, I guess.
Yeah, because the industries we like, that they don't always pay a lot out the gate. You know, it takes a lot of hard work to start seeing the dollar signs and the commas and things you want to see, if you will.
Yeah, so I guess, like with the money and I guess the passion, like who are some of your like biggest inspirations? Like,
so there was this woman I used to watch, Tabitha Kofi, and so she would go into salons. So after college, after getting my marketing degree, I went to Aveda because like I said, I always loved beauty. So I'm a licensed cosmetologist too, which ended up helping me with Angela being on the road, because not only was I able to handle business, I could do her hair. Like professionally. So it was like, oh, this girl, this is great.
So she knew what she was doing.
Right.
Yeah,
so I looked up to that woman, Tabitha Kofi, because she would go into salons and whip these salons into shape. Oh, you're not doing this right. Y'all not handling the books this way.
That's crazy. I think, what was that?
She was like, with short hair,
She came to my town and did that.
Really?
Yeah.
To one of the salons? Oh, that's so dope.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I think her show was called, I don't know, I think.
It was like Tabitha Salon Takeover or something like that, I think. Yeah. So I always liked her, and then I would watch Kimora had like a show, and I can't remember. I guess she was day-to-day life stuff, but I remember them having the business meetings about the brands and, you know, those things. So I looked up. I can't say just one person per se, definitely Tabitha, but just anything that was like that, like cool business, fun business. It didn't feel so much like work. It wasn't like a cubicle. Like I wrote a paper my junior year of high school or sophomore year, and I was like, okay, I want to go, because I played the piano for 10 years. So
musician
I had
too.
like a music tie, but I knew I didn't want to keep playing the piano. So they were asking, what do we want to do? And so I have this paper, I think it's 10th grade, where I was like, okay, I want to go into music business management because I have an idea about music. And then I know the music business management won't be your typical, like, working at a hospital business or working at, something that was too structured or too corporate. Like, I've never worked corporate.
Yeah,
It's always
sucks.
been small businesses, startup businesses, and I used to envy, like, dang, do I need to go work corporate or do I need that type of experience? And I ran into, like, feeling not confident as I tracked along my career, because it's like, all right, I'm dealing with these corporate companies, but am I speaking the right language because I don't have that background?
Yeah.
So I had to educate myself and take classes to make sure I felt up to par when doing business with these corporate companies. But, you do what you have to do.
Yeah, they can be intimidating.
Yeah.
I know those. I used to work for a corporation, and they really don't care about the small people. But,
Right.
So I definitely can relate to you on that. Like that's facts. But like, obviously you're a black-owned business. How do you feel about black businesses right now? Do you feel like where the black community is getting more like, I guess, respect, or not respect, but like recognition through Instagram and Facebook and social media?
Do I feel like more businesses get respect and recognition because of Instagram and social
right now.
media? It depends on where you are in the social media space. Now, who's paying attention to you? Because social media is so crowded and it involves so many people. It's like a whole world in itself. Who's paying attention to you? Are other business people paying attention to you? Or do you just have fans and followers of what you're doing, the regular consumer? So I don't know from the social media aspect if that validates or if it has something to do with all of the surgence of business. What I have noticed is business on the ground in certain communities like Brooklyn, like where we are. Black businesses, there's a total renaissance going on. And I have a lot of friends that are opening businesses, whether it's fitness businesses. I have a friend that opened the fit-in. So I would always be going to the city to go work out. And it take out half of my day. By the time you travel to the city, then you work out for an hour, then you come, we're talking 3 hours at least out of your day to get a decent workout in, because Brooklyn didn't offer the same type of fitness that the city did. So I was like searching, and then stumbled across this studio, the Fit In, and it was like this hit training studio, boutique, small studio, black owned, female owned. I was like, yes, it was up the street from my house in Bed-Stuy. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. She's on her 3rd studio within 2 years. Oh, wow. And she's bringing things like a type of fitness to the city that blacks aren't used to having. So I think that's dope. Another young lady I know, Brianna, she just opened Spike Spin in Brooklyn. So she brought a spinning studio to Bed-Stuy. Black owned, female owned. Angela brought her juice business to the borough. And so, there's a renaissance in that space. And there's, on Tompkins Avenue in Bed-Stuy, it's about 4 blocks of dope businesses, So I see it there. Instagram and social media, some people are selling hope, like people used to sell dope. So I don't know how legit those businesses, you know what I'm saying?
It's very saturated.
It works, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just wondering, because I know when I'm scrolling through my Instagram feed, when my I don't know, explore page, I always see a lot of people, like, I don't know if it's capping or not. Like, I don't know if it's just that, like, the numbers just make the pictures look good, or the pictures,
if it's real,
make the numbers look good, And like, I feel like with that being readily available, it's easy to fake.
Yes,
stuff online,
you can fake it, but you do have to acknowledge that we work different. So we don't work the same way that they worked 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. So, like, I belong to The Wing, which is a female club co-work space. It's like if Soho House met WeWork, right? And to see all these women sitting there out, laptops, like, I'm like, Dad, if we're all sitting here,
Yeah.
who's at the jobs? You know, everyone's kind of teleworks or whatever. So the way we work has just changed for millennials. Like, we don't work the same way that they used to work.
Yeah, no, that's
So I think
facts.
on social media, you do see a lot of that because people aren't punching the clock at the same space every day, at the same desk.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's funny because that sort of applies to everything, even with like using like regular cell phones and stuff. Like when my parents got their first iPhones, it's like they don't know what to do with that thing,
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
They were like, you know, it's funny because I always tell my mom like you still can't put a number in your phone without calling it, you know?
Oh,
Like,
she like calls it
she
instead of,
you gotta call it like every time. It's like you could just save the number, you know, like just little things like that they don't understand. But that just sort of like also plays into how they were raised and how they do business. You know? Like, I mean, 5 years ago, you couldn't tell them anything about anybody making money on YouTube or like on social media. You know, get a job, go to work. You know,
None of that.
but now it's
That
a legit
digital
thing,
money
you know?
is
And you reach
crazy.
out to more people.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like are like the most important aspects of like having a business and making sure that it's like stays on one path and you don't like, because you know a lot of stuff gets pushed to the side, or like you do multiple things. How do you keep your businesses equal and everything like on the same level without letting something drown out, you know?
Yeah, that's tricky. That's hard. I just try to stay progressive in each thing I'm working on. Like right now, I'm gonna be opening a salon soon. So as I've been building out that business and then maintaining the business I've already built, it's really time management and allocating. Like sometimes it's like, all right, only thing I'm gonna do today is salon stuff because I've put in so much time and energy into my clients and other things that if I'm gonna get this off the ground, you just have to do that and you can't feel guilty about it. I used to feel guilty like, oh, I need to be responding to this email or I need to be pitching or sending this or, you know, negotiating that. And sometimes you just gotta carve out the time. All right, I did that yesterday for X amount of hours. Today, this is what I'm doing. And that's it, you know?
that's
Or
how you stay
half the day I'm
successful.
doing this and then half the day I'm gonna focus on that. Just really putting things into compartments.
Yeah, I'm terrible at time management and
Yeah, that-
compartmentalizing, but
So gotta do it and practice it because it takes a while.
well, yeah, it always just, I mean, people who are really organized, it always just like fascinates me because it is a positive thing to be organized. Like, but like sometimes for me, like stuff being everywhere is organized, you know?
Organized chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I go through that sometimes. But if you really want to progress and get things done, yes, you have to have some form of organization. So because you need to be able to check those things off your list and move on.
That's true.
Yeah. And I would say, you know, the city offers free business services. So I have a great mentor that I haven't paid anything for, this wonderful, wonderful woman that has spent hours with me to help build out. I have 3 years worth of projections for my salon, and we have this dope business model that I could punch in numbers. It spits out data to me, and all of that was free from the city. So she's a SCORE mentor. So, you know, when I was like, all right, how am I gonna, because I don't have a partner in the salon, how am I gonna get this off the ground? And I looked at other women that own salons and, you know, what did they do? Because a lot of times you wanna try to reinvent the wheel and you don't need to. What did they do? She was like, oh, thank you to my SCORE mentor. So that night I was on SCORE, Googling, I need to meet with one of y'all to figure this out. And that's what I did. So that helped propel the planning, and now I've sat down with a landlord and I know where the space is going to be, and we've done walkthroughs and we're meeting with contractors, and so I couldn't say that, you know, 9 months ago.
So that must feel good. Like,
Oh, it feels great. Can't wait.
like that's something to look forward to, and that's like really kind of like inspiring. Like, and how old are you?
I'm 32.
Like, that's nothing. You know?
It's not.
I mean that, and what you.
Sometimes I feel behind.
No. I mean, I think about the same thing too. But I feel like you said, if you just worry about yourself and just focus on, you know, yourself and your businesses,
Yeah.
you're gonna propel forward. You know.
Yeah, and some people peak early, and some people, you know, I think New York it makes for a very slow grind. You know, like nobody is an overnight success. It takes at least 10 years. Like you got to get your 10,000 hours. Like it's just what we see on social media isn't realistic. And unfortunately, the generations coming up behind us think it pops so fast, and it really doesn't, you know, especially not monetary. Like you have to look at the value of your opportunities. Like you can't put a price tag on certain opportunities.
No.
You know, so maybe your bank account isn't where you want it to be as you're grinding and starting out or halfway there, but the opportunities and the people you're able to meet and like, you know, as I've been planning for the salon, I'm able to pick up the phone and call, you know, women that have had a business for 20 years and successful, and they're in Target and they're able to just talk to me. But that's a relationship. I can't put a price tag on that, you know?
Yeah.
So, and
That's
I wouldn't
important.
have that if I didn't do all the things I've done prior.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's a lesson, you guys out there. You hope you're listening, because these are some keys.
Yeah.
So, so, I guess with all that being said, what would you say is like your favorite part of New York?
Ooh, probably the food.
More than DC?
Yeah. You know, I was a baby when I was in DC. I, you know, graduated high school, went to college. So I'm like I said, I'm out of that loop. I mean, the food is good there, yes, but I don't know all the it spots. I know my relationships are so much more stronger here in New York than DC. Yes, my family's there, but it's not like I know a ton of promoters there or all the it restaurants, or
Do you feel
I
like you're,
barely
like-
make it home. Last year I didn't go home in 9 months. Like it took
wow.
me 9 months from Christmas until September to make it back home, almost a year. And I'm so close. But that's from being on the road and working and life here in New York.
Yeah.
But the food is good here. Yeah, what I don't like is dirty. It's grungy here.
It is dirty.
Yeah, so, but I recently moved to Mott Haven in the Bronx, in the South Bronx. My boyfriend got me to move up to the Bronx. So I was like, all right, I'll come to the Bronx if we come here. So I like that.
Yeah.
I love the change. But I think my favorite part, I would say, is food and opportunity.
I know
for
that's what
sure.
I've been doing since I got here, was eating.
Yeah, food and
Yeah.
opportunity. Like when people couldn't find a job back home, I never felt like you wouldn't be able to find work here. You know.
Yeah. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, like if you really want to work, you can find a job. You'll find something to do up here, connect with somebody, and be able to make some dollars. So,
Yeah.
and you know,
Networking.
hair was my hustle, so I had my license. So when I left the 9 to 5, like one day, I was still in the showroom. I was at a new showroom, and I had just come off the road to see a few boutiques, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I closed the laptop, and I walked into my sales manager's office, and I said, I'm leaving. It's my last day. And that's how I did that. And I didn't look back since. And that was 4 years into my, 3.5, 4 years into my New York journey. So from there, I had to figure it out. So I was hustling. Like, I was in the salon. I would go work at Dry Bar from like 6 in the morning till 2, and then get off, do stuff with Ange. And then I had a brand on the side that I was selling, a lingerie brand. So I was like just hustling, you know. And then you get to the point you're like, all right, you got to choose up. Like, you're to a place where, you know, all right, you're maintaining your bills. And I wouldn't even cash my checks from hair. I would just put them to the side for like rainy day money, just in case, because I needed to make sure it was okay. I was okay. So, you know, you just kind of figure it out. I say New York has given me, it has stretched me so much and made me so sharp that I don't think anywhere else I could have gone to be the woman I am today. Yeah.
So when it's all said and done, and you're a millionaire and you're retired, you know, you got 16 salons around the country.
There we go.
Where do you hope to finish off the rest of your life? Like, do you want to spend the rest of your life in the city, or do you see yourself moving somewhere else? And
I might go back closer to DC.
yeah,
Would probably still love to have a place here to come. but then I think about where do I want to raise my children, and I was just talking about this. You know, I want them to have, like, I don't necessarily want them in private school. I'd rather them go to a public school, a good public school, and then we spend the money we would have spent in private school in their extracurricular activities and make sure they're well-rounded that way. And I wouldn't mind raising them here in New York, you know, because it is such a melting pot. They'll see so many different things. Like, I came here very sheltered, very green to certain things, very judgmental. And growing up here and being in New York, you can't be judgmental. You know, all the stuff you'll see, you'll be mad all the time if that was the case. You know,
all day long.
Yeah, so it's molded me into someone that I definitely was not when I first got here, and I want my kids to have that experience. And I think they'll get that through travel and things like that. But ultimately, for me, I want to be of service. So I feel good making other people feel good and helping other young women or young men to achieve their potential. Like, a village raised me. It wasn't just my mom. Like, it was aunts, uncles, grandparents, family, friends. So I just want to be of service the way that people were of service to me, and just help people, show them the right way, and to help them get there and give them game, give them opportunity and experience.
That's important, because I feel like there's a disconnect these days with that. With people, there's like a good portion of life that is getting missed out on nowadays, that we all got trained, like person, like people can sit. There's kids who can sit in their house all day and never
And not
any
interact,
interactions.
yeah.
Like, no, nothing. All they got is the computer or their Xbox or the phone. Like,
Yep.
You know, like, we didn't have all that, so
Nope.
we had to interact.
Yep.
And out here, like, you have to, I mean, if you go outside, you have to interact. You're going to see other people, you know?
Yeah.
But even every time I come back to New York, I always learn a little. I'm always keeping my eyes looking around, and I'm always learning, taking in, you know, like a little bit of, I guess, like, street knowledge, or not street knowledge, but like.
What do you love about New York?
What do I love about New York? I love New York because I like the energy. It's the vibe I get every single time. Even when I'm driving here, just like seeing all the buildings.
Yeah.
And I've been here multiple times.
Yeah.
You know, I got family out here.
Okay.
My dad's from Harlem.
Okay.
My brother's from the Bronx.
Okay.
Like, you know, and I love this place, but it's way different from Boston, way different from the Cape, you know.
Yeah, when you leave here, your body actually goes, whew.
When I leave here?
Yeah, no?
No, when I come here, my body does that.
You relax when you come here? Wow. That's a first.
It's just a different dynamic, because where I'm from is
well,
really
you
quiet.
get energized here.
Yeah, I feel like this place matches my energy.
Yes.
Versus back home, where, you know, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Everything closed at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And like the bar closed at 1, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no people right now because it's winter time and it's a vacation town.
Yeah.
You know? So I always appreciate when I come to New York and I can like
come alive a little more.
Almost, like reset. You know. Get some vibes, get some inspiration, and then just bring that back to the Cape.
That's
you know?
dope.
Like, I can always appreciate, even though people say, oh, like the hustle, like it's funny because my younger brother, Dom, he is like the opposite of me. Like, he's really calm, like, and you know.
So he likes being in the Cape.
No, he doesn't like it.
Oh, he doesn't.
No, he appreciates it.
Okay.
You know, but he moved to New York and he's been here for like almost like 5 or 6 years or something like that. You know. Like, he got his own apartment, and it's just like he just puts me onto so much stuff I would never like even think about being out there. You know. Yeah. Like, what's the thing he told me? He used to tell me like, "Yo, don't hold on to the poles on the train.
They're filthy, right?
I mean, I get it, but like, he'll be like, every once in a while, because he'll take the train home late. He'll be like, yo, look at this. He'll send me a video of like
what's going on,
something strange going on. I'll be like, he's like, this is why you don't touch the
Yeah.
All right,
anything is liable.
I got you. But yeah, I mean, I like New York, and I like the people, and you know, I can always appreciate the energy.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, is there anything else you'd want the people to know, or any messages you want to put out there?
Any messages? No, just stay tuned. If you're interested for more, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Paris and Guy. Yes.
Look out for that salon
the salon
coming soon.
coming. Yeah. if you're into
You
that.
got a name for it yet?
It's Soft.
All right.
The name of the salon is Soft Hair and Wellness Bar.
I could use that. I could use some soft hair and wellness right now.
Yeah. Thank you
Get
for
it.
having me.
Of course.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Low key trash.
Bye.